It's time to celebrate. Editor, hit the music. Not the right music! We fucking won, lads. If you clicked on this video, I assume that you saw the first one, and it's really just, it's just worked out the best way that I could have possibly hoped for. We won the bet. We won the bet on the last possible prediction. Literally, if you watched the last one, you know I needed 3 out of 5 per episode, and I literally got the third one that I needed to get enough points to win on the 5th and final prediction of episode 20. So that's great. We won. We barely won, which is exactly what I wanted. This is my highest performing video of all time. This video has brought a ton of people to the Discord where we hang out, and it's become much more active, and it's actually a place where people talk about things regardless of me, which is another thing that I'm super happy about. We've got more patrons such that I can now officially announce that My Immortal Part 1 is out. It's out right now. You can watch it on the Patreon right now. Here's a clip. Because I love her! So, we won the bet. The video did great. The Discord's doing great. The Patreon's doing great. I got one more thing to announce, one IRL thing. Your boy got engaged! I don't have my engagement ring yet. I also don't have a second camera. But she has hers. She said yes. I have lost a girlfriend and gained a fiance, and I wanted to share that all with you. And one last thing, there were people that thought this video was genuine and not tongue-in-cheek, and got very angry at me in defense of Danny. I'm gonna attempt to put this to bed, because I'm probably gonna be mean in this one too, but Danny and I are personal friends in real life. It's chill. We're pals. This was agreed upon beforehand. We're having fun with each other. It's okay. I said this in the first video, but you know how media literacy and attention spans are on the internet. It was never gonna happen. But I'd like to wish a warm thank you and welcome to all of the people who were like, fuck you, you don't have any views, you're shit, and you'll never be good, and Danny Motta's awesome, and how dare you use him for engagement. Which, yeah, he's bigger than me. Cards on the table, that's part of it. But the bigger part of it is I wanted to have fun with my friend, who I know in real life, because we're friends. So let's all just take a breather. It's okay. It's okay. No one here is getting actually upset, except for the people in the comments of that first video. Anyway, all of that prelude out of the fucking way, let's get on to what you all clicked on this video for, I hope. Season 2. Round 2. The final bout of Gravity Falls. Now, if I've timed this correctly, and I always do, this is going up on Friday. Friday the 28th. I have it on good authority from one Daniel Manuel Motta himself, that there will not be a break in between seasons 1 and 2 of Gravity Falls. So, we gotta get this video out on Friday. Honestly, given the current time, we probably edited this one together. Anyway, none of that matters to you. What does matter is, if this video is out, then episode 1 of season 2 of Danny's Gravity Falls things is maybe coming out literally today, definitely coming out this weekend, ? Which is why I needed to get this shit done now. So, here's how this shit is gonna work. It's almost identical to last time. Here are the key differences. Number 1, the predictions exist. We're gonna go through them just like I did last time, not all of them, but some of them. At the time of recording this, I have not selected which predictions are for points. If you don't understand what that means, go watch this video. I'm not explaining it again. But that's on purpose. They haven't been selected yet on purpose. Because the next thing that I'm going to do after recording this is offer to all of my lovely patrons the opportunity to cast your vote on which predictions will be for points. My favorite part of this whole thing has been the viewer interactivity and the watch parties that we've been having over on my Discord, which is completely free, and you can join if you want to. I hope to see you there. They've been super fun so far. All of them are up on my Patreon now, and you can watch them and see how the first season went. Mostly. Real quick, I do need to address this, and I figured doing it as a person rather than just texting in the Discord or anywhere else. We've recorded all of these, and then I send them to my editor, and they get whatever little tweaks they need, usually not much, and then they go up. Episode 10, episode 19 and 20 of the show, literally the season finale of season 1, all of the footage got corrupted. There's not a way to get it back. Trust me, I've tried so hard for the past couple of days. It's just not happening. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I just want to say that to everyone. But going forward, I'm going to take steps to make sure that I'm recording in 2 different ways at once, so this won't happen again. So you're just gonna have to take my word and the word of all of the people who were there in person for the season finale of how that one went. And if you want to ask, come hang out in the Discord. You can ask. I'm sure someone will answer you and corroborate my story. I'm laughing to cope with the pain because I'm still so fucking upset that I don't have that footage anymore. But we're moving past that. If you want to vote on which predictions are for points and which aren't, if you want to be involved in winning, join my Patreon, now's the time. If this video is up, that's still on. If Danny's first video, the season 2 episode 1 for him, is up, this is still on. If I've done the watch party for the first one already, that deal is no longer on, because obviously I have to get my picks in before I watch the first video, or else this whole thing would be bullshit. Even if you are far enough in the future that that has happened, you should still come check out the Patreon. You can hang out with people like Sleepless Nights and Malaic, and see all the watch parties you've missed, except for one, see the ones that I'm going to do, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we do is pretty cool. Like that My Immortal thing I mentioned earlier. Play another clip.
Voldemort gave me a gun.
You can get that tattooed somewhere on your body. Voldemort gave me a gun. So, that's that. The other thing that I need to say, and then I promise we'll get into this, is because we won the first season, I am allowed one of Danny's episodes, to make him watch something. Now this has to be something that would fit into a normal episode's worth of work. So 2 episodes of a regular TV show, 45 minutes-ish. I've already gotten a huge amount of suggestions, and I've gone through all of them, and I'd like to announce that the thing that we will be making Danny watch is to be determined. I heard the gasp, everyone take a breath, hold on. I had to clarify something with Danny. A good number of the things that were suggested were movies, or things of movie equivalent length. That, of course, is not 45 minutes long. However, he did say, and I have in writing, if we win this season 2, because the prize is the same thing, we can either get a second, like, if we did episode 1 and 2 of whatever, then we could get him with episodes 3 and 4 of whatever. Or we could smash the prize together, carnival game style, and get a longer 1-episode thing. Does this make sense? I feel like it does. Anyway, there is one last significant thing I need to address before we get into this. And I promise this is the last thing, I swear. There's one more episode in this than there was last time. So, I have to take a couple of liberties because the rules aren't exactly the same. Now, technically, there are still 20 episodes, but the last episode is double the length. Now, I didn't want to make that easier for me by giving myself double the time to get things out, but have the same threshold. That felt like cheating, and I've already won the first one, so I don't want to make it easier for me. That feels in bad faith. So what we're gonna do, that episode is gonna count on its own. All of the others, theoretically, are gonna work in their, like, duo style, like he's been doing for all of season 1. This obviously doesn't add up, and so I don't know what he's gonna do with that. I don't know if he's going to do the Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained, and I don't know if he's gonna do Between the Pines, the, like, bonus explanation thing at the end. I'm honestly pretty sure he's not gonna do that one. He might do Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna pretend none of that happened. Instead, we're gonna treat it as a 21-episode series. We're gonna give it the same rules as last time, and there's another episode, so I need another point. This will be 9 out of 21, and the last episode will count for double. But it also means I need to hit it for double. Speaking of double, this is season 2, so I'm doubling everything. That's right, last time it was 5 predictions for points, 3 hits to get a point for the episode. Not anymore, baby. This time we got 10, and we need 6 for every episode, except for 20, like we talked about. For that one, we've got 20 predictions for points, and we need 12 of them, but it's worth 2 points. Finally, I have kept all of my books. Here they are. Here are my books. I've actually got a book here. It's this one. This seems like an appropriate book to be keeping for all of this stupid, asinine bullshit. Let's talk about the actual predictions.
30 long years, and it's all led up to this.
Scarioki. The turn. The part where Stan goes, hey, look, I'm the best character. Which is funny, because Danny already thinks he's the best character. Let's go. As it were. Now, this does have to be just a little bit different from my episode 1, because I don't know what is for points yet, so I can't tell you specifically, hey, these ones. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm most confident on, and then we'll assume that that's going to end up for points, because I also get a more significant vote. It's not just everyone in the Patreon, it's also me. So, I mean, this one's pretty obvious. When this happens...
Anyone else want a piece?
He's gonna lose his damn mind. And rightly so, because this is the hypest shit I've ever seen. Into the bunker. Ooh, this is so different now that I've seen him watch the first half, and I know some of the things he's like, how he feels about certain things. I'm pretty sure that Danny's gonna hate almost everything that the shapeshifter turns into, especially the horrible fusion beast. But what I'm most confident on is that he's going to love the "you're too old for me, I'm too old for you" Wendy Dipper resolution between their whole thing, and that they're ending as friends. Mainly because, and honestly, pretty rightly so, he's called out that the Dipper is at his worst when he's pining for Wendy, and so the finality that this gives that is going to be something that I think he's very excited about. I feel like in season 2, each episode kind of has like its strongest moment, which is different from season 1, where it's still like episodic and introducing all the characters and whatever. Obviously season 2 is where it goes from a pretty charming children's TV show to the best animated show ever written. Don't at me. I don't care what other things you're suggesting. Fuck off, She-Ra. I don't know why I picked that one. I could have just as easily thrown in Steven Universe or Hell of a Boss. I don't know. I'm digging myself in a weird hole. Anyway, the moment for this is Big Henry.
Oh, Big Henry. Big Henry.
I will take it.
Of course. And he's... You know how Danny does that thing where he, like, yells? That was the stupidest thing I've ever said. But he gets this tone of voice when he's got, like cry yelling almost.
No! No!
No! Imagine that tone of voice in what I'm about to say, but it's just gonna be like, Big Henry gave his life for that sticker! Something like that is my thought. Sock opera. Man, the plot just don't stop in season 2. He's gonna hate this guy. I feel like that's a shoo-in, because like, how could you not? How could you not hate this horrible, horrible thing? He's gonna call that Bill is up to some shit early, because of course he is, but he's not gonna call what shit he's up to. He's not gonna get the whole like, what puppet are you gonna pick? I pick you. But he is gonna recognize the TikTok audio that is once it plays.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
And also, I'm pretty sure he's gonna hate Bipper. Susan the real girl. He's gonna simp for Giffany. Let's be honest with ourselves. Little gift shop of horrors. I can sum this one up in 4 words. Oh god, another anthology! Society of the Blind Eye kinda threw me for a loop here, because despite how plot heavy this episode is, I couldn't really pin any predictions to the plot. However, I could pin plenty of them to the jokes, methinks. The one that I'm still not settled on, and I will settle on it before this video goes live, is he's gonna have some reaction to this.
McSucket. They got me good.
But I don't know what. I need a little more time with that one in the oven. I'm gonna sleep on it tonight and then make my answer, because this video won't go up when I wake up, it'll go up the next day. Oh no, it'll go up 2 next days from then. I got plenty of time. I think he's gonna call out how dark Lazy Susan getting actually bag over the head kidnapped in the cold open is. And I think he's gonna really enjoy the, like, what's his name? McGucket is his name. He just takes the mind ray over and over again because he's so screwed up already. I think he's gonna really enjoy the, like, the problem solving of that, how you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Blendin's game. Hey look, a Portal reference. Surely he notices that Portal reference. Dipper's gonna really, really hate Dipper. I've been doing that this whole time. Every time I wrote down a male name starting with D, it was just a coin flip on whether Dipper or Danny came out. Which is extra hilarious to me because Danny does not like Dipper. At least not yet. And God, that better change by the end, but like, I kinda get it. As much as I prefer Dipper of the two twins, I do kinda get it having rewatched season 1 of the show and then his takes on it. Dipper doesn't start out great, which is fair, but he's also 12, so you know. Anyway, he's gonna hate Time Baby. Love God was another weird one because this, well, it's another episodic one that doesn't really move the plot in any meaningful way. So I had to kind of scramble on this one. I think he's going to get weirdly invested in Wompers, the Waddles Gompers shit, because you know how he loves Waddles. And then also I think, and this is my, like, this might be my biggest, like, weird niche, I've watched almost all of Danny's videos poll for this one, but you know sometimes he'll go like, I can so clearly hear him going, is that Naruto Uzumaki? Is that Naruto Nine-Tailed Beast Uzumaki? You know how he does that sometimes? Is that XZ? Is that XYZ? I think he's gonna do that when Alexander Hamilton shows up. And I know, and I'm aware, because I Googled this, I'm aware that Alexander Hamilton does not have a middle name, but for some reason I can hear so clearly him going, is that Alexander Hamilton? Is that Alexander James Hamilton? Not his middle name. He doesn't have a middle name. I don't know why, but that's stuck to my brain like a magnet. And so I put it in there. Deal with it. Northwest Manor Noir. Now I kind of fucked up here while I was watching this because I thought this was Not What He Seems. And then I was like, wow, do we really only have Ford for 5 episodes? And then Not What He Seems is literally the next episode. It punched me in the gut. So I don't know why I included that. I just wanted you to know my pain. Anyway, Danny's gonna think that this episode is fucking brutal because this episode is fucking brutal. The guy just full on takes an axe to the face mid-mudslide.
Swept away by the storm.
And that's not the worst thing that happens. It's just gonna be like 8 different flavors of oh my god. And then we pivot immediately into Not What He Seems. Now, Not What He Seems is the best episode of this show. Period. Full stop. And that, honestly, is my prediction for this. That he's gonna, upon first watch, immediately understand that this is the best episode of this show. I also think he's gonna really enjoy anti-gravity combat grunkle. I came up with that phrase while I was watching it, and it had to go in the video, because I like saying it. A Tale of Two Stands was difficult. And honestly, I think it was difficult because it's such a good episode, and it's 90% backstory, so there's not really anything new in a plot sense. It's just kind of shoring up questions that we already had, which makes it difficult to predict how he's gonna react to things, other than J.K. Simmons showing up. I feel that will be mentioned. Speaking of noticing vocal cameos, Dungeons ×3. Dungeons, dungeons, and more dungeons. I didn't want to type it out. I know that Danny has not played D&D. I also know that he kind of wants to, but is the busiest man alive, and therefore probably never will. But for the bit, I do think he's gonna shit talk D&D. At least a decent amount. And of course he's gonna call out Weird Al, because how could you not? He's got such a recognizable and incredible voice, and he's so talented and funny, and I want to be friends with Weird Al. Unrelated to everything going on here, but it is true. I also think he's gonna hate the Centaur Tar, which is crazy because I love the Centaur Tar. That's such a good bit. The Stancharian candidate. I don't like talking about politics, If you want to see my thoughts on politics, go to this video, watch the beginning of it, and we're gonna move on. But not before I say that Danny is going to love Tad Strange.
Hi guys, Tad's the name, and being normal's my game.
Goddamn American hero. Unlike this guy, who is in need of a Xanax. The last Mabelcorn. We've made it to the end game. Almost. From here, the plot just kind of starts steamrolling into the end, and boy, is it good for that. Except for the very next episode, which we'll get to. But I think the biggest thing for this one is the lesson of the episode, and Mabel just says it outright, is morality is relative, which is a rough lesson for children. And so I think that's exactly what my prediction is. Just Danny going, yeesh, that's a rough lesson for a 12-year-old. Also, we know that he has a bad habit of missing post-credit scenes, or the during credit scenes. And this during credit scene is plot relevant because we see Bill and we see him go, shit, I gotta possess someone else. And I'm not certain that Danny's going to see that because of his aforementioned not good at post-credit scene-ness. But if he does see it, I think he's gonna make a prediction on who Bill's gonna try and possess, and I think he's gonna be wrong. It's time for the worst episode of Season 2, Roadside Attraction. They needed some downtime. They needed some downtime before ramping up into what is about to come. And honestly, this was a really weird hot take. I think the ending of the show is actually helped by this episode being as bad as it is. I think like if you're doing if you're on a motorcycle or if you're playing Tiny Wings, hitting that valley hard makes the jump all the more powerful. I think this Roadside Attraction episode being kind of a dip makes the springboard of Dipper and Mabel versus the Future into Weirdmageddon all the stronger. But we have to talk about this one for at least a moment. So I think that there's gonna be a brief moment because of, let me cite my source on this one. So far, Danny has really enjoyed most the relationship between Dipper and Stan when they're like bonding over stuff. And this is very much an episode for that. So I think there will be a period of time where he's enamored with that concept, and then after a little bit realize, oh hey, all of the advice that Stan is giving towards Dipper about women is terrible advice. Other than be confident, I guess, but that's like the first thing he says, and then he just keeps talking, and this is the plot of the episode. I don't need to explain this to you, but I ramble. I'm a yapper. You gotta know that by now. And here we go. The big four, the final 4 episodes, Dipper and Mabel versus the Future. I think Danny's going to notice and be a little bit disappointed in the person X overhears person Y somehow, but person Y isn't aware of that trope, because that trope very much happens here, just like it happens in Wreck-It Ralph 2, and any like butt dialing scene where someone butt dials you while they're talking about you, and then you overhear something you're not supposed to hear, that trope. I think he's gonna call that out, but hot take, I think he's going to side with Mabel over the whole Dipper taking the apprenticeship thing. Mainly because I think he likes Mabel way more, and as much as I think that Mabel is in the wrong for the way that she reacted to that, she's 12. Cut her some slack. Although she does immediately go on to cause the literal apocalypse. So, consequences where they're due, I guess. Speaking of, time is dead and meaning has no meaning! Welcome one and all to Weirdmageddon. I love that monologue. Oh, if I could do that for auditions, I would. Anyway, Danny's gonna hate with every fiber of his being this. And fucking yeah, he should, cause holy shit, there's never been a better time to play that Alex Hirsch quote.
It's just gonna be another goofy episode filled with silly jokes for kids.
I think he's gonna be very excited of the, albeit brief, return of Rumble McSkirmish. I think he's gonna notice, and I bring this up because I noticed it for the first time, when Dipper does this, which is literally just when Ash does the same thing to Mewtwo in the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. I'm certain, in fact, that I used that clip in this video like 2 videos ago, and I don't know how that just kind of worked out that way, but we're talking about it again so soon. Anyway, I think he'll notice that similarity, And I think he's gonna fall back in love with Wendy, because Wendy is so fucking cool in this episode. Legend. Legend. Part 2. That bubbled thing. I think he's going to comment on Alex Hirsch's vocal performance somewhere during this episode. I don't know what it is. My favorite line that Alex Hirsch says as any character, specifically because of the delivery, is this one.
Walk it off!
It's so early, and it's not plot relevant at all, but something about just the... It's weird to say growl for a voice that's so high-pitched and like kind of nasally, but the little growl that's in there on Walk It Off, I'd say that constantly. And whenever I say it, it's a reference to this line. Other than that, I don't think he's gonna like the multi-Mabel jury. Obviously, he's gonna hate Cockroach Wendy because... Nightmare fuel. And also, obviously, he's gonna be a huge fan of giant waddles. And the final episode, Weirdmageddon 3, Take Back the Falls. First of all, this episode is stupid good. Even if it's double the length, that shouldn't be a disqualifier for this being one of the best episodes of television and probably the best series finale of certainly any animated show. I will admit I hadn't watched Owl House until Danny did, and those season finales and series finales were very good, and I was shocked to find that they were as good as they were. But they got nothing on Take Back the Falls. Yeah, go ahead, Owl House fans, give me the hate, I'm ready for it. All of that to say, because of how hyped this episode is, this is the episode where the most of my predictions are in all caps, because I think there's gonna be a lot of yelling. The theme song battle will, I think, appropriately be called out as the hypest shit to have ever happened in animation. I think he's gonna love the reunion, both reunions actually, between the cops, Blubs and Durland. I think there's going to be a request for a kiss, and I think he might get faked out because they almost kiss there at the end.
We're mad with power!
And love.
I do think there will be some sort of Jesus, actual Christ moment, either during, I've got some children I need to turn into corpses, or I'm gonna disassemble your molecules. I think one of those lines are gonna get, like, the highest it's going to go, put it to bed, oh my god, what is happening? I think he's gonna be a little bit upset that Stan gets his memory back, and gets it back so easily, because of all of this show, that does feel like the one significant cop-out, just because I think well, I don't know. I don't know why they made that decision. I like it, and I don't like that the stakes are kind of overwritten, and I feel like it takes a bit of the weight away from it, but also, the ending of this show, like the actual falling action and quote-unquote epilogue, I think is perfect, and should not be touched. So, whatever it took to get us there, even if it does cheapen that sacrifice, I personally think is great, but I think he's going to be a little disappointed by it. Although I do think he's going to notice and point out that Stan getting his memory back probably means that Bill is still something, somewhere, which is correct. See also the Book of Bill, and the statue hunt that is now over, but he's not going to put that together just from that little picture of a statue. Unless he does some serious Googling mid-episode, which I don't think is going to happen. And finally, my literal last prediction chronologically. I think that Danny is going to absolutely love threatening the bus driver in defense of Waddles.
Welcome aboard.
He's got everything he needs. Violence, Stan, Waddles. What more could you want? And that's it. That's lots of my predictions. Certainly not all of them. Do you want to see all of them? Do you want to maybe vote on all of them? Check out the Discord and the Patreon in that order. How many are there, you ask? Because I told you last time that there was about 200. Let me count! And similar to Season 1, with Episode 1 having the most predictions, other than Episode 20 because that one counts for double. Which brings us to a grand total of 291 individual predictions. How many will be right? Will we together be good enough to take down Danny a second time and win a barely feature-length film? Or 2 additional episodes of any TV show of our choosing? Find out in the Discord and the Patreon. over the next couple of months. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful time. Please give Danny all your love, because I have to ask him for permission because he's way bigger than me to do this. And he said yes, and it's been super fun and pretty successful for me, which I can't thank him enough for. It's not about the numbers, but I do have to be honest that the numbers are happening, and we're getting pretty close to 1,000, and I'd really like to hit 1,000 sooner rather than later. For the first time in the history of this channel, I'm starting to see it snowball. And God, I'd love for it to continue to snowball. I've said this since the beginning. I don't want to be famous for the fame, and certainly not for the money, but I would really like to get there. So anyone who has been here, I can't thank you enough for sticking around, even if it is just to make fun of Danny with me. But if you've been here for 1 second, if you've been here since this horrible, horrible nightmare, thank you. I appreciate it. And hey, I'll see you next week for probably steel types. I don't know. Maybe something entirely new. Creamtown? Anything? Anything to say to the people at home?
I've got some children I need to make into corpses!
He's got a community day coming up. I hope you're ready for that, buddy. I'll certainly be participating. You should go check that out. Good night, everyone!
Ah! My eye!
Post-credit scene for this one. Or do I?